All right, my name is Spencer Waddell. I'm one of the personal trainers here at ICC Fitness Center, as well as a martial arts instructor. I teach Tai Chi. I've been doing martial arts for now about 17 to 18 years. One of the biggest things I like about Tai Chi is it's really good for stress management, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So basically, oops. Sorry, you get used to the clicker. Is it the?
Yeah, rotate it towards you.
Okay, good. Sorry, new technology, working on that. So my background, I'm currently working on my degree in family consumer sciences. I want to do physical therapy in the end run. I banged my head up against trying to do pre-med enough that I'm like, I'm just going to go around it, and I'll do family consumer sciences, then exercise science, and then I'll try to do physical therapy. I've also started my own business called Training Fitness and Physical Culture, where I teach further martial arts as well as Tai Chi in the park. I also work with some of the retirement homes in the local area. I do some online training as well for some people that my friends are far away, and they're like, I don't want to do this, so I just help them out that way. I've been working as a personal trainer for 4 years now, 2 years at the ICC Fitness Center, and then 2 years before I was at Planet Fitness, which was a good experience. You got to work with a whole different people, all age groups, all different times, but I really like here at ICC Fitness Center, I can help people more individually cater to their goals and what they want to do for the rest of their lives. I enjoy studying martial arts. Like I said, I've been doing it now for 18 years. I love hiking, cooking. I've recently picked up blacksmithing. I have a friend next to me that's like, didn't know, he's like one of the most renowned knifesmiths in like the whole nation. So he's like, I'll teach you some stuff in my free time. I'm like, yes, please. So that's kind of cool, it's fun. And I enjoy traveling, and I'm a U.S. veteran. I was in the Air Force from 2000, where did I get out? Got out of high school in 04, so I was from 04 to 08. I was in Germany for the most part. Once again, the whole martial arts background. I wanted to go to Japan, China, all these places, and they're like, you're going to Germany. And I was like, that's the complete opposite culturally, but that's okay. I really enjoyed it. It was a great time. Came back, and the rest is history in that part. So, have any of you been stressed? You have? Oh, okay. Well, I'm good. I'm glad you came to that part. So as you can see some of the pictures, as far as just you have the moment where you're like, what am I going to do today? What's going on? All the things you have to get into your day. I don't know if you have kids or help your friends' kids or your significant others. There's always something else that's you're on track and then it derails you. So what's something that stresses you out personally? Yeah.
I think just if there's like schedule conflicts
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to maybe having to have somebody watch our daughter.
Sure.
That's like the newer one.
Yeah.
For me.
And most of the time it's not
Trying
you.
to work that out.
Yeah, and you've gone ahead.
It was going to be stressful before it started happening, but yeah, it is stressful.
And you've gone ahead, you're like, okay, we're going to try to get that in place, and then it's either like, they're like, oh, sorry, I have to cancel, or other things, and just name it. So that can be very stressful. How about you?
I have a teenager, so.
Ooh, sorry.
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
It doesn't matter. It's still,
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't
still
had
the
kids yet,
attitude,
but
so.
yeah. I have basically an uncle to a kid, and it's very hard, because sometimes they'll put me against the parents. They're like, well, you said I could do something. I'm like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, you need to do that too. So yeah, it's really hard. So basically, it's still realizing these stressors and trying to figure out ways to fix them. Even though sometimes when it's outside your realm of control, especially when it's another human being, it's kind of hard to mitigate that stress. But the important part is realizing that, and then we'll go over some ways that you can help that. There's also a YouTube video where I'm going to pull up real quick. Actually, I'm going to go over. It's just a short little thing on stress. Some people may not understand how hard stress can be and what it can afflict upon your body. But it's just short, just 3 minutes.
We've all had a big test or a scary speech looming over us at some point, so everybody knows what anxiety feels like. Your guts feel all twisted up, you can't stop clenching your jaw, and instead of sleeping, you just lie awake thinking useless thoughts like, my mom's the only person in the world who really likes me. Or wait, does Bobby even like me? It's annoying and counterproductive and apparently useless. So why do we even have that? Well, it turns out your body's anxiety response isn't useless at all. It's actually a result of the all-important sympathetic nervous system, which who's in charge of the fight or flight response, the reason you can respond quickly and spectacularly to sudden threats. It's there so that in the event that you wake up and your house is on fire, you can respond immediately. Your body becomes flooded with adrenaline or epinephrine, a hormone that, in a temporary but substantial way, changes how your body does business. It causes your sense of smell to heighten, your muscles and blood vessels to contract, your pupils to dilate, sends more blood to your heart and lungs and less to your digestive system. After all, if you're going to get out of a burning house alive, you're not going to have time for a bathroom break. And though it's not every day that your nervous system has to go to code red, at least I hope not, your sympathetic nervous system also kicks in to a lesser degree when you have business to attend to, like pay the bills or make a deadline. Without it, nothing would ever get done. But you don't want your sympathetic nervous system running the whole show. That's why you also have your mellower, groovier parasympathetic nervous system, which creates the opposite of the fight or flight response. It's sometimes called the relaxation or feed and breathe response. Between these two systems, a balance, a kind of homeostasis is maintained. But some people have a hard time maintaining homeostasis. Their fight or flight response is always in gear, causing chronic anxiety. This condition is sometimes hereditary, or it can develop when stressful experiences pile up. Not only does chronic anxiety feel crappy, it also damages your cells, alters your brain chemistry, and can exacerbate pretty much any health problem you can think of. For starters, as expected, chronically stressed people have a greater risk of heart disease and high blood pressure, since constant constriction of blood vessels puts pressure on the heart. Stress has also been found to worsen conditions like asthma, migraines, male infertility, gastrointestinal problems, and even type 2 diabetes by raising blood glucose levels. And on a cellular level, constant stress has even weirder effects. Research shows that chronic anxiety can actually accelerate aging by wearing away the protective caps on our chromosomes called telomeres. Stress can also inhibit your cells' ability to protect themselves from oxidation, process that acts on the body in exactly the same way that rust acts on an old piece of metal. This causes imbalances in brain chemicals like serotonin and norepinephrine that affect sleep, mood, and emotional stability. So if you're feeling anxious more often than you suspect is good for you, take some steps to protect yourself. Take deep breaths, get exercise, or go to yoga or meditation class, because a little anxiety at the right time can be healthy, but we need to keep you alive. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow. If you want to tell us about your worst anxiety attack, you can find us on Facebook or Twitter or down in the comments below. And if you want to continue getting smarter with us here at SciShow, you can go to youtube.com/SciShow.
So that's just a little part of it. I'll try to put that in a link whenever Ken and Liz put that up there, because it's really, really good information. They have little tidbits. I tried to pick a short but informational one during that part. I mean, there's a lot of information that went on there, but however, when it just talks about the amount of stress that we get from day-to-day aspects of our life, it sometimes can be helpful, because that's what keeps us from just being like, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to do this. But also in our day and age, it's harder to have that rise up and down, because it used to be like, hey, if we're getting attacked by, let's say, a saber-toothed tiger back in the day, we get away from it, we're fine, and now we kind of go back to chilling. Nowadays, we have so much social media, we have other things that keep us at this higher level of elevated stress, and it's something we need to work on. So, once again, these are some of the stressors that we go through. How do you deal with stress? Can you see at the back? Is the lighting too? Do I need to turn off the lights? Or are you fine with you guys?
There's no real light.
Do a little bit here.
There's a dimmer right there.
Ooh,
Oh,
there we
that's
go.
nice.
So I'll also vision as well. Turning the lights can help relieve stress. I did not just plan that, but it's also true. Different stress lighting. So as you can see, negative ways: compulsive spending, excessive drinking. I mean, every now and then, yes, a little drink to help you de-wind, but if it goes over a certain point to where it's now inhibiting you from doing something that you need to get done, that's excessive. Overeating or undereating can both be as hurtful. Some people, I have some of my clients, they'll be like, well, I'm trying to lose weight, so I'm staying around 700 to 1,200 calories. I'm like, that's way too low. You need to be eating more. Your body is now not getting enough that it needs to rebuild and work on things. There's a certain part when you said homeostasis, just living, breathing, organs working, you need around 16 to 18, depending on what our body. Mine a little bit higher than some of you, but so it's something we need to do. Social withdrawal, we need our people. We need friends. We need family. We need someone to talk to. It's not good to recluse. Overworking. Sometimes whenever we get so stressed, we're like, I'll just focus right to my work. But once again, that will then stress you out more. You won't be able to sleep as well, and then you still end up suffering. So it's all in gradual a little bit, or not dealing with it at all. I used to, as a kid, whenever I get in trouble or whenever something would be bad, I would just sleep. I would just sleep. My parents would be like, oh, Something must not be going well, he's just sleeping. And they let me sometimes, but other times they're like, hey, get out of bed. You got to deal with this. Go outside. Go do something. Positive ways, physical activity. Coming down to the ICC Fitness Center, doing any of our classes, which are free if you have a membership. Doing Tai Chi, doing yoga, punching the punching bag, just working out, going for a walk, anything. Forest Park Nature Preserve is starting to be open now, and it's one of the best, beautiful places to just go for a walk. You take a little hike, you can see deer every now and then. It's just nature, just being around nature. Laughter and positive outlook on life. I know it's easier, like, hey, just be happy, just get over it. No, that's a little bit harder, but if you always look towards, I hate to say it could be worse, and then hopefully it does not get worse, knock on wood, afterwards, but just knowing there's always going to be ups and downs can really be helpful. Talk to someone you trust. There's always social workers that can help you. You can always, and I'm not talking about crisis of anxiety where I'm like, I need so much counseling, or that. If that's what you need, that's also possible, but more just talking to someone how your day went. That can be really helpful. Time management, we'll get down into that a little bit more, where once we say we're so busy, we don't have time to do this, we don't have time to do that, we don't have time. There are always things that we can cut out and work on. And actually, this is probably a good point. If you take a look at the little sheet that we have that has, I don't have it on a board, but it has a 4-segment square where it's priority activity at the top, optional activity on the right, and then there's fixed time and flexible time. So there's certain things that you have to prioritize that you have a fixed time limit on. Like for myself, when I had that, it's like I have to go to class. I can't just go to class when I want to for school. It goes at this time, so I have to be there. That's fixed. It's a priority. Something else for fixed and priority is like time-sensitive chores. Like I have to go to the bank. I have to go get groceries. I have to work on some things there. For me, teaching my Tai Chi class, that's a time-fixed priority. Also, doctor's appointments and sleep. Although sleep can kind of fall into the flexible, if you allow yourself a allotment of time, you can kind of sleep in between a certain time period. But obviously, it's not like if during the seminar I'm like, okay, guys, it's time for me to go to sleep. I can't go under there and just get that done. I had to have done that earlier. However, in flexible time, spend time with my wife. That's something, it is a little bit flexible. Some people say wife or husband or significant other, but there is a fixed amount of time. For me, after it's 8 o'clock p.m., her brain's shutting down. She's going to bed one way or another. I can't be like, hey, we need to talk about the bill. She'd be like, nope, not doing that, not doing it. PT sessions for me, some of you guys, when you work from this time to this time. It's a little bit different for me. Instead of having 1 or 2 bosses, everyone that I work with is my boss, which makes it good and bad. There's times when you're like, I had this planned, but then they have to cancel, so you have to reschedule, so it's a little bit different there. Study time for school, that's a flexible time. Meals for eating, you still gotta get your eating in, your sleeping, that's a flexible time, but these are things you have to actually plan for. Some of the things in fixed time but optional, religious activities, church, going to see movies, going to see concerts, kids' baseball games. Actually, no, it's still optional, but some people would say that's actually fixed because you're like, I gotta go to my kids' basketball, baseball, anything game, but it's a fixed time. Other than that, and flexible but optional social activities that you can do at any time. And for order of importance, it's always your fixed things that you have to do that you're having high priority, then it becomes your flexible times that you have priority, then you go up to where it would be your fixed time but they're optional, and then from your flexible time optional. It's just priorities, time priority-wise. But it's something easier said than done. We talked about deep breathing briefly, or they talked about that one, just breathing about that. That can be misconstrued. So sometimes they're like, hey, you need to just calm down, just take a deep breath. But it depends on what's going on in that part. You're like, you calm down, you take a deep breath. It won't work. However, in Tai Chi, we talk about it, in yoga, and working out, breathing is one of the most important things. And obviously, it makes me sound like a broken record during my Tai Chi class. I'll be like, all right, class, take your time, breathe, don't lock your legs. Or I say it over and over and over again, and I feel like they're gonna get so mad at me saying this over and over again, but every time I say it, someone else has forgotten in the part of the room, so it keeps on adjusting. Because also, too, they're really vocal. They tell me, Spencer, shush. So it's fine. But something when we talk about deep breathing, we can practice it just for just a little bit. It's that whole, you inhale for around 4 seconds. We're trying to work out, most people breathe like right about here, that's all they get. We're trying to expand our whole belly, we're trying to breathe. So we're going, two more times. Last one. feel a little bit better? Am I crazy? Yes, I know, right? And you can't, there's something to work on. We talk about that in Tai Chi. It's called deep belly breathing. There's sometimes where we actually get all the air and it feels like you're going, but you're getting all the air out of your stomach. But you don't do this type of breathing more than 5 to 10 times because then you start getting lightheaded. But doing something like that when you're not in distress can help you for when you do need to take your time and just be like, I just need to just chill, relax. But you've prepared that. Nothing doing it the first time in a matter of distress is hard. So that's something else you can do. Oops, as I hit the thingy, that's what you're saying. So, oh, we're going all crazy. Let's go back. Oh, that's not going the other way.
Yep.
That's it. So that's all I have for now. I'll fix it real quick. Oh, always something.
You're
But-
not getting stressed over that, are you?
No, not at all. I'm one of those people who roll with the punches. I was trying to have this done a little bit earlier. No, I'm not about to bite the computer or anything. No, it's fine. Something I've just innately had. My mom kind of hated it sometimes, but thought it was good. I was kind of like really easygoing. So the thing would happen, I'm like, okay. Stuff. So I had to learn more to have a sense of urgency on things when you needed to. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like the martial arts activities where it can be amounts of violence when you're doing things. Not malicious violence, like you're trying to hurt somebody, but there's things in boxing you're doing. And people be like, I never see you lose your temper when you get that part. Or very seldomly, I'm like, I just either figure they didn't mean to do it, or I hope that's not the case, or it's all right. They're like, huh, okay. So it's just kind of putting yourself in that mindset. Types of wellness. I didn't have enough space on the board to go over it, but I'll go over it briefly, just give you a little summary. So in physical wellness promotes proper care in our bodies, optimal health, functioning overall physical wellness encourages the balance of physical activity, nutrition, mental well-being, and keeping your body in top condition. Top condition being relative. It's not like I'm going to run that marathon out. It's just being able to do what you need to do throughout life. 2, shameless plug, we had a nutrition class recently, so if you missed out on that, you can watch that video. We'll have that up there for us. That's something you can do. Emotional wellness. Emotional wellness inspires self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, development of inner strength. Emotional wellness also includes the ability to learn and grow from experiences. Emotional well-being encourages autonomy and proper decision-making skills, and it's part of overall wellness. This is the part where we try to practice what we preach. We try to work on making good decisions. So this is all comes like, Spencer, what does this have to do with stress relief? Having this started and already working through it helps you be less stressed in those times when it does get harder. Spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness is a personal matter involving values and beliefs that provide a purpose in our lives. While different individuals may have different views of what spiritualism is, it is generally considered to be the search for meaning and purpose in human existence. Not to get too heavy, but leading one to strive in a state of harmony in oneself and others while working to balance the inner needs within the rest of the world. It's that kind of thing of like, you have some days where you're like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What am I working towards? Who am I working for? What are things that help me as a person and help me have worth in my community that I am? Be it your community, be it only your family, be it your neighborhood, be it just your friends, your little group of girls or guys or whatever you're working on. So it's not necessarily more religious beliefs, it's just kind of finding what makes you you and giving yourself a purpose. Myself, I believe that I like helping people reach their fitness goals, try to help people work out with their life, and try to reach them to their goals. It's not necessarily always going to be through me, but if I don't know the answers, I'm going to find someone else who does and pass it on to them. It doesn't have to be like, I got you there, because I don't care. Just get to the end journey. Intellectual wellness. Wait, I'll make sure you're not clicking on accident. Intellectual wellness refers to active participation in scholastic, cultural, community activities. It's important to gain and maintain intellectual wellness because it expands knowledge and skills in order to live a stimulating, successful life. Going back to one of my Tai Chi classes I have, one of my students that's been married for around 51 years, I'm not going to say her age, but she's been married for 51 years, and she will always come to me every day and give me one new fact. Because she has a little app on her phone that's like, today is National Ketchup Day. You should have something with ketchup on it. Today is National Red, so she gives me something new. And it's honestly something that I've learned. I'm like, oh, that helps stimulate your neurons, helps you be less stressed, and also lets you know that there's always something new to learn. So it's just something that keeps things in perspective. Social wellness. Social wellness refers to one ability to interact with people around them. Social wellness forms these tenets. It's better to contribute to the common welfare of our community. Also kind of going back to spiritual wellness. You can think of not thinking of only yourselves And it's better to live in harmony with others in our environment than to live in conflict with them. It takes more energy to be in conflict. It takes more energy to frown than it does to smile. So just think about that. Also, if you worry about fitness and physical, they all come together. You can't be lacking in one and then completely and just do the other one a lot better. By doing some physical wellness or coming to a body flow class, body flow class, body pump class, Tai Chi, anything you name it, you kind of get into a culture of people, like-minded individuals. Doesn't mean you have to go and hang out every single day, but you see them and you actually start to have a little bit of a community. It's helpful. Moving on, 10 memory strategies. We'll go over this shortly. One of the most stressful things I have is when I forget something. So have you ever had a moment where you're thinking about something and then you turn and then it just kind of floats away? You're like, what was I thinking about? This is some ways to help with that. Make groups. When you have to memorize a list of series of things, organize it into groups of something that have in common. Grocery lists, anything, not just going through things helter-skelter. Like, okay, let's look at all the groceries you need to get. Let's go through the dairy first. Then let's go through some of our grains and other carbohydrates. Let's go through some of our proteins we might need. Let's go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, opposed to going back and forth. Make associations. Connect new information with something related to what you already know. I just had one. I was doing a class. I had an extra credit assignment between this class where we were trying to learn on study tips, working on. And she's like, sometimes there's something called, I think it's not palmetto. It's a egg timer where it's like a tomato. There's a certain word for it, I can't remember. And you set it, and during that time, you work on what you're gonna work on for that like 15 minutes. And then you go on to something else. But it keeps you from doing, I don't have time to do this, so I'm not gonna do it at all. You're like, I'm gonna do this for 15 minutes. And she's like, it's kind of like, I believe it's like supersetting, which is you do one exercise and you just keep on going. She's like, it's like the same thing. I'm like, you're right. I understand that. But that's not all I do. So it was interesting. Make pictures, mental pictures, associate things. Recite it, repeat it out loud, and repeat it again. Teach it. If you have something that you know, share it with somebody. This can also challenge your information and your knowledge, not in a mean way of like, I know what I'm talking about, but more you're like, I didn't know that aspect of it. And it puts you in a more environment to learn. Continuation, because that was only 5, we got 5 more. Write it out again, write it out a third time. When I was doing this presentation, I wrote it out every single time before I didn't have a chance to do that. I was trying to. But it's really helpful. If you write things over and over again, you will memorize it, even though if you don't want to, but now it's just stuck in your head. Use mnemonics. Make words up by using the first letter of the term in songs, rhymes. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Things like that you'll never forget. Roy G. Biv for The Colors of the Rainbow. It's funny, I was writing that down. I was like, what's up with mnemonics? Oh, mnemonics. Okay, that makes sense. Use your best time. But Spencer, all my time is my best time. Yes and no. There's certain times that you're more functional. Like I said, if I try to do anything serious with my wife, talk to her about things that need to happen after 8 o'clock after she's worked all day, she's like, I can't do this. You need to schedule in time, talk to my people, and we'll do it some other time. So figure out what time of day is best focused. Me, I'm not a morning person, but I am. I can wake up and just be like, ready to go, do my things. My midday is my hardest thing. If I'm midday, I'm already stuck in my goal. Liz will have sometimes, she's like, Spencer, I need to do some of this. I'm like, can you send me that in writing or text, because I will not remember. And that's just knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Space out doesn't mean space out. It means break your memory-related things into short sessions. Some people like cramming. Oh, one other thing. This is not for everybody. Some people like cramming. If it works for you, it works for you. If it's easier to segment things, then do that as well. Some people say, how do you eat a whale? I'm like, what? Why would I want to eat a whale in the first place? One bite at a time. You're like, okay, I guess. That ain't a deal, but it's just a lot. Last thing, stay positive. Once again, just staying positive. It's easy to get yourself in a rut. I always just put it as simple as it takes more energy and more muscles to frown than it does smile. Even sometimes we really want to frown at that person, it's easy to be like, thank you, that's awesome. I'll deal with that way. Getting into Tai Chi and yoga. So yoga is a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices and disciplines which originated in ancient India. Yoga is one of the 6 orthodox schools of Hindu philosophical traditions that is a broad variety of yoga schools, practices and goals in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Yoga has been around for 5,000 years. It's kind of crazy. It's one of those things where, well, I don't think they keep on doing something if it didn't work. Not always true. There's things that work on that way. But it's just interesting. And more here when we have it in body flow, That's a really great class. I try to do it as often as I get a chance to. We do some yoga poses, but also add some Pilates. And it changes from time to time. Darcy teaches that. Liz, do you still teach that sometimes? Or Liz teaches that. Stephanie teaches that. I want to get better at it so I can teach it. I'm not quite there yet. Once again, both are taught at ICC Fitness Center for free if you have a gym membership. Tai Chi, or it's also pronounced Tai Chi for short, or Tai Chi Quan, and Tai Chi, even though it looks like Xuan, it's Chen, Tai Chi Chen, is an international Chinese martial art that is practiced for both its defense training, its health benefits, and meditation. The term Tai Chi refers to the philosophy of the forces of yin and yang. And it's not necessarily good and bad, dark. It's just like one side to another side. Related to the moves, Tai Chi has been around from debatable 700 to 1,015 years. Yeah, 1,500 years. Like I said, I've been studying that now for about 8 years. I've only recently got my purple belt in that one so I can teach within the last 2 to 3 years. I really enjoy it. We do deep breathing, we work on other exercises. There's times where we do different stretching, flexibility. It looks super easy, and in that instance, it really is. However, just like anything, there's different layers to it. I think Shrek said there's layers, onions. Ogres ogres have layers. So there's different layers. If you want to do something harder about it, there's something where we talk about like flexing your arms and still trying to flow, or it's called tensing, and that's just the upper body, but then you can tense the lower body while you're doing it too, and then you can relax, then you can do it again. So I always try to get more people that are what we call super athletes, where they're like, oh, that looks too easy. I'm like, come in just for 10 minutes, and I will try to work you as hard as I can, and let me know if you think that's hard. It's a really nice class. I had some people before in the last session said that they wanted to start trying to do it maybe at 1:30 when they get off. I don't know if we have time for it, but we'll try to make it. Is there any time that would work for you guys, or would you be interested in doing it if you had a work schedule, or is it just not time for you? That's fine. You're off at 1. Would it? Okay. Well, that's 4 or 5 people will be in so far. Yeah. Cool. So we'll have to see. Like if we have a demand, we try to supply it. So basically, in the end, enjoy life. There's always something worse that can happen. Once again, knock on wood. Not that we wish it upon anybody. There's always someone else worse. Always someone worse off than you. Life is beautiful, and be thankful each and every day. Do you guys have any questions? Did any of this help at all? Just say sure. Like, is there anything that would help as far as like working on processes to try to make you have more time or feel, or because this is something that we're always going to work on. Hopefully, heaven forbid, as long as Liz isn't like you're horrible. But something we want to fix. Let me know if there's something that we're looking for more information that you would think. No? Okay, that's fine. You're just there. That's good. Anything you?
Oh, questions?
Yeah. Or comments, concerns, gripes. Cool. That's awesome. All right. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.